Good morning. Here we go. We are recording, ready to go. It is, what is it? It's October 12th today. Holy mackerel. We got a Black Friday, or actually a Friday the 13th coming tomorrow. But a Black Friday right around the corner. And as we were talking about, I think just last week or the week before, anybody get any good ideas and get ready for the Black Friday that's rapidly approaching?
Yes, John, I'm ready as soon as the leads program rolls out. This is 2 weeks. The last time you said it'd be about 2 weeks. So I'm hoping we get an update.
It's very, very close. They're doing the final testing right now. And I see every time I log into my email, I see a bunch of orders coming through that are all test orders. So hopefully they're ironing all the bugs out of the ordering system, and then we're going to be ready to go live very, very soon. So pretty exciting on that.
Do you think it'll be ready so we could do a Black Friday on it, or can we still do it before the formal rollout?
No, it'll definitely be ready for Black Friday. That's no doubt about that one. If it's not
yes,
ready,
John, I've got some Black Friday ideas that I'm getting ready to roll out. So there's the answer to your question.
If I tell you what, if it's not ready by Black Friday, there's some heads going to roll. So that is definitely I'm looking at within the next week or so. But the program, we're still getting the same feedback, and the guys that are familiar with cold email are doing really well with it. A lot of people that are not familiar with cold email and don't really have marketing sequences together, it's the same old problem. When you jump into traffic, I've fought this for decades with SEO. If I do SEO for a company that knows how to sell their stuff and they've got sales processes in place, it's a no-brainer. But every time I do SEO for a company that does not know how to sell their stuff, it's a problem. Because guess what? The SEO doesn't work. Well, as you know, SEO always works. It's the sales process that was broken. So again, it's either not understanding your market, it's not being able to communicate your value, or not having traffic. So if you have traffic going to the site and it's the right traffic and you're not making sales, then it's not the traffic piece that's broken. It's either the communication or the identification of the market. And that's analysis and creation of the ACT program. And I always say you've got to do these things in order. There's no way you're going to buy traffic and just throw it at something and just have things miraculously sell. It does not work that way. You know, the biggest problem or the biggest mistake I see people making is underestimating what it takes to actually make a sale. What it actually takes for someone to pull out their wallet and part with money to get something, even if they want it. You know, even if they want it, even if they need it, you still have to sell it. And the selling comes in the communicating the value of it, because everybody has choices, you know, and unless you are a big brand, which I don't think any of us here are, you need to take effect in doing that. Like if you're a big brand, you've pretty much hammered in at a subconscious level for people to purchase your product. And an example of this is when you go into the supermarket and you want a tube of toothpaste, and you walk in the toothpaste aisle, and guess what? There's probably 50 different brands on the shelf there. And you don't see 50 brands. You see Crest, or you see Colgate, or you see whoever it is that they've taken over your mind space for toothpaste. And they've ingrained that they are the one for you. So when you walk down the aisle, you're just blind to all the rest. They don't exist. You just go right to the logo that you know, and you purchase it. You don't even think about it. That's the advantage of a big brand. They've got gazillions of dollars to do that, to get you to be familiar with their logo, familiar with their brand, and actually indoctrinate you into their culture. And guess what? That is a very, very expensive game to do.
But the only way they have the money, John, is they figured it out the first time. And then they got paper for their printing machine.
That is absolutely right. And you know how they did that? Most of them went to an ad agency, and guess what protocol the ad agency uses? Analysis, creation, and traffic. So, I mean, all roads, all indicators lead back to this has to be done in a particular order. There is a right way to do it. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but there's a right way to do it. And generally, the right way is typically the easy way. It's not necessarily the shortest way. But when you look at overall, you might have other shorter ways to do things, but they might not work as well, and you might bang your head against the wall quite a bit before you get where you're going. And I typically don't like to do that. I have a very soft head, so I try to protect it whenever I can.
John, one last quick question. You say that the people that are that know how to do conversion and stuff are having good results with these. Has anybody actually given you any comparative numbers about how these convert relative to the other ways that they're getting their leads and how those are converting? Any real numbers?
They actually have. They've been supplying me with numbers and stats, and I've just kind of been putting that stuff aside in a folder till I'm ready for it. But, you know, at a glance, it's a winner. It's definitely a winner. And if you go into somebody that doesn't have numbers, none of that's going to matter. It's just that's going to be in the part of convincing the head. It'll be really easy to seduce the heart with leads, like just the saying of, why do SEO when I can just tell you who's looking for you? That seduces the heart. That's like anybody that has tried SEO and done SEO, you know it takes a long time to do it. You know how much work is involved in it. You know all the crap that you have to go through to try and compete. And then you also know as soon as you get to the top, somebody's sitting there ready to knock you off. Anybody that's been through that, it's a war. It's like literally going to war. And all it really gets you is it gets you in front of people. It doesn't get them on your site. It doesn't get them to click. You can have the top position, and if the guy below you has a better title and description, he's going to get all the clicks and you're going to get nothing. That's just the way this game works. So you literally have to be the top of your game, the best of all categories for you to win at SEO. Now, if you roll the clock back 20 years ago, that wasn't the case. I could put you at the top for so many keywords and just drive so much traffic. It was a numbers game. I mean, I could barrage enough traffic that, you know, they say even a blind squirrel can get a nut. I could literally put you in that bucket 20 years ago. That's not the case today. The cat is out of the bag. Everybody figured out how valuable search traffic is. And for those of you that have never heard me say it, the reason that search traffic is so valuable, it's in-flow marketing. It's somebody that is actively searching for what you have. Totally different from all other advertising. All other advertising is disruptive. They're not looking for you. They're not looking for anything. They're just doing what they're doing. Maybe they're on Facebook. Maybe they're looking at family pictures or whatever. And then blam, you throw an ad in front of them. That's disruptive. That's kind of also a nuisance in many cases. And if you don't have an absolutely stellar tagline and a stellar hook to grab their attention, AKA a big idea, if you don't have a big idea that's going to grab their attention, you're going to do what David Ogilvy said. You're going to pass like a ship in the night, meaning your ad won't be seen. They'll just be blind to it, just like I talked about the toothpaste. You only see the one that's ingrained into your subconscious, and you don't see the other 49 on the shelf. So it's really important. And that's, that makes SEO traffic much easier. If somebody searches for you, they see your site, they click on it, you have such a higher percent chance of doing business with that person as you do if you're doing disruptive advertising. Because like I said, they're in a different mode. They're not looking for you. They don't want you. And you're going to show up in front of them, try and get their attention and try and convince them that they do want you. That is a much harder game. That is way harder to do than when somebody knows they're looking for something. They know what they want. Maybe they don't know exactly what they want, but they have an idea. They want to solve a problem. And they're actively hunting for a solution. And you show up. It's a lot easier to flag their attention that way. You don't have to be near as good at the game. You just have to be at the right place at the right time. And again, the problem with SEO at this point in the game is there's so many people fighting for it because they figured that out. They figured out that search traffic is the best traffic on the planet. Because of that, it's in flow. It literally is showing up at the right place at the right time. So not to say that all the other forms of traffic are no good. All advertising that works and converts is good. If you can get any form of traffic to convert and it makes sense and your lifetime value is higher than the cost of the conversion, that is a money printing machine. You should be looking for every one of those you possibly can find. Those are all very, very valuable. So I don't want to downplay the importance of having multiple channels, but I do want you to get the fact that SEO is the best form of traffic on the planet. And our new leads program is just a new version and variation of SEO. The difference is, like I said, all that stuff, all that crap that you got to go through to get yourself to the top of the search and then make sure you stay there, just to have a chance, a 1 in 10 chance that somebody's going to click on you and get to your site. If they do, you are golden. You have the best shot at closing them of any other form of traffic. But you have all those things against you. And the further down the road we get, the more competitive it becomes. And it's just, the water is very, very bloody. And that's where, with this new program, when I throw out the big idea of why go through all the trouble of SEO, when I can just tell you who's looking for you, that is an attention grabber. People that understand and like and want SEO traffic, that eliminates all the headache. And then I go further into explaining how the system works. With our AI bots, we're literally monitoring what people are searching for. And it's done in the form of the marketing ID. Everyone that's online has a marketing ID. You all have marketing IDs, whether you know it or not. And that's how they track you for retargeting. When you land on someone's site, they've got your marketing ID. They don't have your identity, but they have your marketing ID, which is it's a unique number to you that does not reveal your identity. But it does reveal your intent by which site you went on to. So they have that, and they can say, okay, this person is interested in blue suede shoes. So we're going to follow them around, and when they're on another website that displays ads, guess which ad we're going to pull to display to them? The blue suede shoes ad. That's how they do it. So with us, we've created a system to monitor those marketing IDs for what they're searching for. And somebody searches for something that is relevant to your business, we're following them around to see, was this just a one-shot deal, which we don't want, because we don't want somebody that's just pogo sticking and bouncing from one search to another. But if they search for the blue suede shoes, and then they go to a site and they consume some content, and then they go to a second site and consume more content on blue suede shoes, then we flag them as a lead. Now we have a valid search lead not a click, an actual lead. We use the AI to now go and match that marketing ID up against another database that will actually give us their true identity, give us their name, address, phone number, and email address in real time. As they're looking at that second piece of content, you could be firing them off an email of, hey, we have blue suede shoes for sale today. That's showing up at the right place at the right time. Now, as always, when you've got new technology and you're front running, you're always going to get the naysayers. You're always going to get people that say, oh, well, that's freaky. People are going to think you're a creeper. Well, yeah, they said that about retargeting too, but retargeting wound up being one of the best forms of traffic on the planet right after SEO, because it's following people around with relevance. And that's what we're doing. We're identifying search relevance and targeting prospects based on that. So it's really unique, and it works really, really well. So you can see how this is the reason why I let my SEO team go. For those of you that don't know, I actually let my SEO team go after 20-something years. And that was in July, because I knew we were right on the edge of having this thing done, and this was going to make it irrelevant for me. There's no reason for me to be in the SEO game when I could just tell you who's looking for you. You guys all know how lazy I am. This is going to make me even lazier, but always with better results. So,
John, one of the things you were saying about you have to get to people who are already currently buying leads and know what to do with them. That's the takeaway I've gotten from just about all your conversations. And so if I'm going to be dealing with people that are already currently buying leads and are looking for more, which was a real big criteria that I have heard you say many, many times. So if somebody is actually really serious about leads, they would already necessarily have to have some numbers about what their current leads are doing, their conversions, which leads they're buying are working so they can buy more of them, or which lead, if somebody doesn't already have their numbers, I would think that's kind of a pre-qualifier for, if they don't have that, we shouldn't be selling them leads anyway. So they should be able to say, okay, here's what we're doing right now. We say, okay, we're going to give you a 50% discount off your clicks for Black Friday and show you how well these work. Please, we'll give you a 50% discount if you'll tell us how our leads stack up against the leads that you're currently doing us, and just give us those numbers so that we get some real numbers. That to me looks like a self-sorting thing. Plus, it puts us in a position of being able to validate with their own numbers how well we're doing on their stuff, which is they're going to believe their numbers before they're going to believe anything that I say. So if they don't have existing numbers and they can't do that, they can't take advantage of the discount because they don't have numbers to give to us as a comparison. I think I should not be selling to those people, because they haven't demonstrated to me that they really know what they're going to be doing with these leads, which is the only person I really should be talking about. Otherwise, I'm wasting time. I'm going to sell 500 leads, and they're going to say these don't work, and I'm going to have to go find somebody else. That's my thinking. Am I on track with it, or am I off base?
No, you're absolutely on track. And just for clarity for everyone else that doesn't know what you're talking about, the program, the leads program that we're talking about, that's going to be released here in the next couple of weeks, hopefully next week, it's going to be sold in 3 different flavors. It'll be sold as a software that a business owner could purchase for themselves for their own private personal use or business use to generate leads for their business. If they don't know how to close leads, it's going to be just like SEO is to somebody that doesn't have a sales funnel. It's going to be worthless, and they're going to be pissed off because they're going to say it doesn't work. And that's to Richard's point. Yes, that's absolutely correct. You do not want to sell traffic to somebody that doesn't know what to do with it. On the other end of the scale, the second flavor of this that we'll be selling is an agency version, where you could purchase this agency version and you could generate these leads as many as you want, as many campaigns as you want to sell and become a lead generation company. And you could take on customers. I don't recommend ever taking on customers and selling them something that they can't use or something that they're not ready for. So the higher level, and this is what I had recommended to Richard if he wants to get into this, and his head is as soft as mine is, and he doesn't like to bump it, is to go after lead gen companies that already know how to sell leads. They already have clientele that uses the leads, and sell it to them in mass quantity. That to me is the ideal customer. If you roll back my time clock 25 years, when I went into the SEO business, my ideal customer was a manufacturer between $2 and $10 million in annual revenue. It wasn't the local shops. I never really served the local businesses because, for one, they weren't used to spending money on advertising. For two, if they've got traffic, they probably didn't really know what to do with it. They didn't have funnels and marketing systems in place. And I didn't want to be a teething ring for them to cut their teeth on to figure that out. Again, back to the soft head. I don't like to bang it against the wall. So I stayed way out of that. It wasn't until like 2010, I got kind of sucked into the internet marketing space, and everybody wanted me to do this stuff for small businesses. And I really didn't want it. I went into it kicking and screaming. And my way out was to create a reseller program. So I let resellers do that if they wanted to do that. Like, you guys want to deal with those little companies? Have at it. I'll do the stuff in the back end, but I'm not having all those come to Jesus meetings when it doesn't work. So I opened it up and I allowed other people to resell our services, and we were just a machine on the back end doing the SEO work. But nobody, I guarantee you, nobody had the same quality experience that I did working with the manufacturers. I tried and tried and tried to convince everybody this is where the real money is. This is where the pleasure part of this business is. And I couldn't get anybody to follow it because they didn't have the belief in themselves, is what I think was the problem. They were like, in their head, and this goes to a mindset issue. In their head, they were probably thinking, who am I to work with a big company like that when I'm working out of my garage? And that killed them. That killed their dream. And it's a shame. I never think that way. I went up to, prior to the internet, I opened a sportswear company, me and my brother, and we had literally no fear of anything ever. We've been in business since we were teenagers doing different stuff. And we opened a sportswear company, and we started developing a worldwide distribution chain to sell these t-shirts. It was sport fishing shirts, to basically so we could write off all of our fishing activities. We didn't really want to be in that business, but it gave us the ability to write off all of our fishing and our boats and all that stuff. So it was great. But we went to work and we developed a worldwide distribution channel, and we're selling these shirts all over the world. And my brother, we're sitting down watching that movie Wall Street, and they talk about bagging the elephant. And my brother looks at me, he goes, I bet you can't bag the elephant. And we were referring to Walmart. And here is a couple of numbskulls making t-shirts out of our garage. And he wants me to bag the elephant. I mean, we weren't making them out of our garage. We were running the business out of our garage. We had the shirts being manufactured and printed and drop shipped and going right directly to their destination. But you get the picture. We were a garage business, and he's wanting me to bag one of the biggest retailers on the planet. So I did. I created a brand. I created branding and a booth. I created a trade show booth out of thin air that was absolutely phenomenal. It made us look like a world-class company. And I hired a spokesmodel, And her job, her single sole purpose on the planet under my wing was to find the buyer at Walmart and bring him into my booth. And she did that. And I had a conversation with him and we wound up selling him into Walmart. Against a bunch of financial advisors telling me not to do it. It was suicidal. I was not going to lose the dollar bet that I couldn't bag the elephant. Ego is a very bad idea in business. I'm telling you right now. And that was what killed that entire business, was my ego with my brother bet me a single dollar bill that I couldn't bag the elephant. I burned down the whole city to prove him wrong. Destroyed a worldwide distribution channel that we had created to bag the elephant. But I did it, and I got that shiny new dollar bill from him, and everybody was happy.
They weren't.
But at the cost of destroying a pretty good sized business that we had built. And I don't, at this point, I don't even know what the point of that story was, but it's a good story.
John, it's about being fearless.
Oh yeah, there you go. So I never had that thing of who am I to sell to these people. I'm like, I'm the guy that can do this. That's what I was thinking, not who am I to do this. It's like, I am the guy. There's no one else. I am your best solution. I always approached it in that way. And that confidence, I believe that confidence alone is what got me in all those places. It's what got all those people to work with me. It was not knowledge. It was never that I was smarter than anyone else. That's not what did it. It was purely the confidence. That
Guile. They call it guile, John. Guile. Spitting in the face of the dragon.
That was 100% what it was.
What's our third flavor? You went to the first two flavors. What was the last one?
The third is the white label version of this, and that is where you can actually package up the software and sell it as your own, as your own company. So hold on just a sec.
Did someone bring me up to speed? I came like maybe 10 or 15 minutes late. I guess John made a new software that's able to follow people around and cross-reference their information on various databases so you can essentially direct sell them. Is that right?
Yeah, John, give us the John Limbacher, elevator pitch on the software so we know how you're thinking about it.
Oh, sorry about that. What was your question, Travis?
So I came maybe 10 or 15 minutes late. I didn't realize you were pitching an entirely new system of digital advertising here.
Yeah, it's really cool too.
But basically, you're following people around and then cross-referencing databases to get their actual information.
Correct.
So you can mail them.
Yeah, that is absolutely correct. The cool part about it is it's where we start the process. We're starting it on them running a search. So we've got an AI system that's monitoring what people are searching for and then following them based on their marketing IDs.
How is that? How are you following them? Like, where is your AI exactly?
The marketing ID, really, that's how you follow them. Just like with retargeting, when they show up on another site, basically they're flagged as, we know where they are. We can follow them with that ID. If they're on a site that displays ads, that triggers the ad network. Okay, display this ad based on this ID, this marketing ID.
Right. Okay.
So the only difference with us is instead of them having to land on your site, because that's the way retargeting works, you have to have them land on your site for you to pixel them.
Right.
With this, we're grabbing them right out of search. They don't have to have ever seen your site.
Okay. How are you able to track their searches? Is this like a Google extension of some kind? Like what, where, how are,
No,
where,
no. And this is not really specifically Google either.
okay,
This is like any search box on the internet.
okay,
They could be on somebody's site and they could pop up the search. Like let's say they're on eBay and they use the eBay search box.
okay.
We see what they put into that search box, grab the marketing ID and follow them around to see what other content they're consuming. So the AI knows relevant content. It's just like Google's AI. Google's AI has, all the information.
You're checking an IP address. You don't have their contact
It's
information.
it's not an IP, it's a marketing ID. An
And
IP,
where did I, as a user consumer on the internet, where did I volunteer my marketing ID?
as soon as you bought a computer, as soon as you opened a web browser, as soon as you went onto the internet, you basically have a marketing ID. So
But how are you getting that data from them doing a Google search? Are you going to get thrown in jail for hacking something?
No. This is all publicly available data. It's just how you grab it, sort it, and sift it.
Okay.
I mean, I've known this, all this information has been available since 2006.
Okay.
2006, Google crossed the line. Google started collecting all this data. Now, when they did it, my speculation was that they had a get out of jail free card, because in 2006, there was a lot of issues with privacy. People were really freaking out about their privacy, and there was lawsuits and all kinds of stuff about invasion of privacy. So here, 2006 rolls around, right in the middle of all that, Google starts collecting everyone's data. Like, I proved that they were in my bank account before I was by using line sniffers. I've got a friend of mine that's a security guy. He's the head security for the Siemens Corporation worldwide. When I told him what I had seen, he was like, holy shit. He goes, you have a security breach. And he came over with all his equipment and hooked it up to my computers. And he was sitting across the desk from me. And he's like, all right, he goes, open up a browser, not a Google browser. So I opened up, I think back then it was Netscape, or I don't know if it was even Firefox yet. But anyway, I opened up another browser, and he said, go to this site, go to that site. He had me go to Yahoo. And then he said, log into your bank account. So I pull up my bank and I log in, and his eyes got big. And I'm like, what are you seeing? He goes, Google was in your bank before you were. And I'm like, how the hell is that happening? And he's like, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. He came back the next day and he said it's a thing called safe web browsing that Google had created. And it's like a screen door. It's meant to protect your system, right? So when you do an HTTP, and this might take some of you guys into the weeds a little bit, but the technology behind it, HTTPS, it's a protocol to pass information from a central server up to who's requesting it. So when you go online and you put in a URL, you're requesting that request goes out across DNS to figure out, okay, that information's sitting on this server over here. It goes to the server, it says, we'd like this page served up. So now that page is going to get sent back. On the way back, Google's safe web browsing is going to scan it before it gets to your screen, before it comes into your computer, to make sure it's safe. So therefore, they were in your bank account before you were. Before your banking information got to your screen, it went through their filter. And they cataloged all that shit. And the reason I know they cataloged it was because prior to that, the thing that even alerted me to the breach was I had a document that was literally for my eyes only. It was my proprietary system for SEO, and no one had ever seen it. It was what made me the king of SEO, and no one knew how I was doing it. And it was in a document, and I didn't want to leave it on my computer, so I put it onto my server in a secure folder that was password protected. No one had ever seen it. No one had access to that folder except for me. And about a week after I put the document in that folder, I was running a Google search for something I was looking for. And guess what I saw? I saw my document indexed. And I'm like, holy shit. How in the hell did Google get a hold of my SEO proprietary document? But they had.
Wow.
And that was, I was flipping out. I'm like, oh my God, you know, I've got a serious security breach. And that's when I called my buddy. And that's how we figured it out. And, you know, at the time I was a little upset about it, to say the least. I felt a little violated, but I had an epiphany very shortly after that. I know how this beast works. And it allowed me to create a new system to feed what I wanted into it. And that was the Rainmaker software. I knew that if I feed information in, it's going to catalog it, and it's going to count it, and it's going to recognize it. And I could literally train their AI, because they were using forms of AI back in that time. They just didn't call it that. But they were starting to identify user experiences. And knowing that and understanding that at that early point in the game gave me a huge advantage. I mean, just a massive advantage. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on under the hood. Like, you know, I could hear it in your voice. You sounded a little pissed that somebody had a marketing ID on you. I guarantee you, they know everything you've ever done online. You need to just get over it. If you want to be private, then you can't go online. You know, not in the traditional
How about
way.
pornography searches?
Oh, Woody, they know everything you've ever looked at. They know everything.
I looked it up, John, just because when you were saying that, essentially what Google knows is they know every click of every browser that's been on the internet since 2006. And every day they catalog enough information that if Shakespeare's combined works are about a gigabyte, and if the book's 2 inches thick, every day they collect, every single day they collect enough data to create a stack of books from here to the sun and back and halfway to the sun again every day.
Yeah.
I mean,
so if you think they don't know everything about you, you're kidding yourself. So all I'm doing is I'm able to tap into that. Just like I was able to feed the system in 2006. Actually, it took me about 4 years to figure out how I was going to use that information. It was about 2010 when I released Rainmaker, the first version of it.
Okay, so
really well.
So now essentially you are able to determine, okay, this is somebody who happens to be searching for blue suede shoes, and you are also able to get their contact information. But I don't know, like, wouldn't it be risky to send a bunch of unsolicited email? Like, that seems like it would result in a high degree of spam complaints and possibly lower deliverability.
No, because here's how we got around that. And you're right on first glance. But the way we got around that, and what you can actually say if they ask you, how'd you get my email? They actually opted in to one of our certified partners at some point. They might have opted in 10 years ago. But all the data that we're pulling, every piece of content that we're pulling as far as someone's ID, they have opted in, and they have given that willingly into this database. So
Okay.
there is a network, just like there's a network of retargeting partners. There is a network, basically, I don't know if it's worldwide or what, I imagine it probably is. But there's a network of shared information from people that have opted in for things and data that they've put into forms and willingly given. So that's where we're getting it. So if they question it, you can just say, hey, you know, you put this information into one of our certified partners, and we're just contacting you on, on their behalf. And if you don't want to be contacted, here's an opt out. We'll just opt you out, no problem.
Yeah, I'm not as much worried about explaining it to people as I am about just spam complaints lowering my overall deliverability on any campaign.
Gotcha.
Or
Now
funnel.
that's the whole thing. When you're doing this is a cold email program, no matter how you slice it. They
Okay.
didn't opt into you yet. They don't know you're watching them. So it literally is, it should be treated as a cold email. So you should not send this from your normal email.
So different domain entirely.
Correct. We're actually building in a click button to connect you to SendGrid. So you could use a SendGrid account to do your initial contact. Basically, it goes out something like this. Email comes in. SendGrid sends it immediately, giving them some kind of an offer for free information or some kind of valuable content based on what their search intent was. That leads them to a landing page where they now opt in to receive more. And now they're in your marketing funnel. Now they're a warm lead.
Right.
And it's a numbers game, just like anything else.
Everything is, yeah.
But what would you rather have? The email of people that are actually searching for what you offer, or trying to get clicks to try and get that?
Yeah. So how detailed can you get? Like, so for example, you have a global search like how to fight versus how to throw a hook. It's like much more specific in the content that you can give them. So
you can use, here's another cool thing. The keyword research in this program is different than SEO. The way the keyword research works in this program is you can use up to a 3-word phrase. I highly recommend a 3-word phrase. And the way it works is if you put one word in, like let's say you put fight in or fighting, it's going to give you every possible variation that has fighting in it, which you
fighting
probably
speeding
don't
tickets.
want. Yeah, you don't want that. A 2-word is going to give you every variation of every phrase that has both of those words in it. That's going to be better, but I believe the 3rd word is the key to real specificity. So in the 3rd word, using the 3rd word in the phrase, that's going to give you only searches that have all 3 of those words included in the phrase, but it's going to give you every variation of them.
So why are you stopping at 3? It seems like more specificity would be better.
It would, but it's the data cost. When by the time we've overlaid the 3rd one, we're already at a $2 lead. If we put a 4th one in there, the price would go up exponentially.
Okay.
The way the data feed is pulling. So it's a massive jump from 3 to 4.
How do you deal with situations where you just can't do it in 3 words? I mean, solar, best solar San Francisco, let alone solar San Francisco near me. You put near me, that's always a big one.
Well, best is a garbage word. You do not need best in that phrase. It's going to get best. It's going to get every variation. You only use the words that are absolutely crucial to what you're doing. Best is not crucial. Solar is crucial. If you're looking for them in San Francisco, that's not even crucial because all you have to do is put the zip codes in the targeting. So you use 3 words that are absolutely critical to what you want in specificity, and it works beautifully. Like when you target, you can say, I only want searches that are originated in this zip code, or these 10 zip codes, or these 50 zip codes, or this city or the state. Usually the zip codes is better. What we found in the cities is a lot of cities have subdivisions and things that don't show up, so you don't really get the entire city. So using the zip codes, pulling a list of all the zip codes is going to get you max power, max benefit. So that's what we've found. Or you can make the mistake I made and you can put national in and see what happens. I did my first initial test on this. I knew I was actually doing a pay-per-click program for SEO software. And I was paying $18 a click. and it would take anywhere from 50 to 100 clicks for me to get a lead. So at $18 a click, if I take 50 clicks, that's $900 a lead that I was paying. I put the system up, and for my initial test, I started it right before I went to bed, and I just said, hey, give me everything related to SEO software. I woke up in the morning, I had almost 700 leads.
Oof.
And I'm like, holy shit.
Did you also spend $150,000 or?
Well, you know, it's $2 a lead. So
Okay.
it wasn't that bad, but I was not ready to deal with it. You know,
Right.
I basically had spent $1,400 by the time I woke up. But it
another, I've run
was
into a
amazing.
similar problem if when you buy leads or and you get a fairly specific or whatever, you only want to buy as many at, like, I'm a national offer, right? But if
Yeah.
I go for national, I can't service all those leads that quickly, so
Correct.
they get cold if and so you want to take them off in bite-sized
Yeah.
chunks.
Yeah. And you can throttle that using the program. You can put in, I only want 2 leads a day, or I want 10 leads a day, or you can do what I did and say, give me all you got. That was a mistake.
When are you going to demo this for us?
It's actually been up in a beta version for the last, I don't know, 3 months. People have been playing with it, and
How do I sign up?
I'll do the actual, when we do the rollout here in about a week or so, I will have had the training videos made by then, and we can just go through it step by step. And it's super easy to use. I mean, it's a very simple, easy control panel. Basically, you're naming your account, you're putting in your keyword phrases, you're putting in your geo target, you're putting in the number of searches that you want, and then you can check off what data you want. If you want all the data, there's no additional cost on the data, but you can get their physical address. So if you had, let's say you had send out cards, you could integrate this to send out cards, and you could send them a postcard instantly. As the leads developed, out goes a postcard. You could do, I don't recommend that you call them, although we have had some of the beta testers do calling. The calling was not as good as the email. And this goes back to the point of how this data is collected. They're filling out a form online, and a lot of people put bogus phone numbers in. They'll put the real email address in because they want to get whatever it is that they're signing up for. So the email addresses have been really, really good. The phone numbers, not so much. So we're not selling it as, you know, you're buying phone numbers. We're selling it as you're buying email addresses. And you also get, as a perk and bonus, you can have the phone number if you want it. You can also have the physical mailing address if you want it. But it's really the email is the key component behind the system.
John,
And
do you
that's
think
why,
there would be any, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please. Sorry.
I was just saying, that's why we've integrated it into SendGrid, so you can actually use SendGrid to fire off the cold emails.
Yeah. I had like a secondary paranoia there. Let's say, so if you're sending from a separate domain, would you also host the funnels on a separate domain? Because I have to assume that Google will be smart enough to say, all right, well, we got all kinds of crazy email addresses, but they're all pointing at the same spot, right?
I wouldn't go to that level, as you know, I wouldn't think you would need to host your funnels elsewhere. I think you're perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, because I guess anybody could then attack me by sending out spam all over the place, linking back to my URL. It's like the old the negative SEO conundrum, you know,
Yeah.
the SEO attack.
And we're also working on a couple of providers, because I know there's a lot of people that are going to want this service and they're not ready for it, and they don't know how to get ready for it. So we're actually working with a couple of providers that if you need a service to actually handle this for you and do the emails, set the campaigns up, even set up the opt-ins for you, they will do that. They'll set up funnels if you need a funnel set up. I think some of you guys already have a funnel. You just don't have traffic of people that are relevant to opt into it. And this is like the perfect solution. You know, SEO is like a bridge too far for most people because, you know, on a good day, you're 3 months away. You know, pay-per-click can get really expensive. I mean, it can get really expensive. So can Facebook ads. You really have to have your marketing down. You got to have it nailed down. Whereas with this, if you just have a good landing page with a good opt-in, you could probably sidestep all of that.
Hey,
Just
John.
get these cold emails. Yeah, go ahead, Libby.
Yeah, because I've had my hand up forever.
Go ahead.
Forever.
Sorry about that.
Just sitting there listening. Okay, so obviously I'm one of the people that you know, doesn't have the email savvy that some of the other people do. And
Sure.
what happened for me, and it may be something that will help somebody else. You know, I have my funnels in place and I have that. And if I do my emails from my Kartra, I can see what my open rate is and I can see all that stuff.
Mhm.
But because it's not going through Kartra, it's going through something else, I don't have any way of, you know, seeing what the analytics are. So it's like I'm kind of on the border here because yes, I do want to take advantage of the program, and I was able to do the beta test things. By the way, I was one of those people that picked up the phone. Don't do that. But I always thought, well, screw it. I'm just picking up a phone and calling them. The worst that can happen is they hang up. You know, I don't care. I'm not afraid of the phone, but don't do that. Anyway, so
How'd it go? What happened? I'm curious.
oh, most people have no idea what I was talking about. This isn't their number. This isn't them. I'm like, next. I just kept calling people. And then I
Gotcha.
realized just go with the emails, a better idea. But I didn't have a way outside of Kartra of monitoring any analytics at all. So I had no idea other than, hey, if they landed on my landing page, but there was no way for me to monitor things. So you had said there is somebody that you're working with, and maybe that's what you were alluding to, that will take care of that, that is good at email marketing and all those things.
Yeah.
What is the timeline for that? And would I be a candidate for that, or am I just barking up the wrong tree here?
No. His name is Lorenzo.
Right.
And I have a meeting with him, I believe, on Monday to kind of finalize and see if like he's ready to put his system in place for everybody. The guy that I had sent you to originally, he was a guy that had a Python script that could just send the mail like under the radar. And
That was,
but it didn't have the analytics like what you were talking about.
Yeah.
With Lorenzo, he'll have it fully set up in a system like SendGrid where you will get all the analytics and you'll be able to know what's going on and all of that.
Okay.
As far as like the calling portion, we did have somebody that was successful with the calling, and that was Gary Howarth.
Okay.
And he generated leads for it was some kind of an insurance thing. What was it? Anyway, I forget. It's some kind of an insurance deal. And he said about 1 out of 10 of the phone numbers was accurate.
Right. Yeah.
But he said of the ones that was accurate, they were interested.
Okay.
So it comes back to the point of, you know, when a lot of people sign up on forms and they're giving their information, a lot of times a phone number is required and they'll put in just a bogus phone number just to get through the form. So that's why the phone numbers are not real quality.
If you've got their first name, last name, and email, why wouldn't you just run it through like Verifalia or something, or Apollo?
You could, yeah, you could. There's so many things that you can do with this as a base platform. You know, for me, I'm only taking it so far. I'm, you know, where I've got it is about as far as I'm going to take it, but that leaves it open to people that have savvy on stuff like that can take it to the next level. I don't need to do that. I'm going to bring it up and leave it as a base platform. My goal and intent with this, just so you know, as this is rolled out, I learned where my sweet spot is going to be. And it's just like when I entered SEO, I found the sweet spot of manufacturers in the 2 to 10 million range. My sweet spot here, I can already tell you where it is. It's finding lead gen companies that are maxed out. They're selling every lead they can generate, and they could sell more if they had them. One of those guys can sell 1 million of these leads a month for me. I just need a handful of those guys and so, like the way it works out, we're selling these leads at like $2 a piece on a wholesale level. So a business owner could buy the software and buy the leads for $1.99. An agency owner could buy the software and get the leads for $1.99. And then they can go in and tweak the system and set the base rate of the lead at whatever they want. Like they could set the base rate of the lead for their customers at $2.99, $10.99, $100. I don't care. As long as I squeeze my quarter out of that lead, that's all I'm concerned with. And you guys know what that adds up to. If I get an agency or I get a lead gen company that's moving 1 million leads a month and I'm making 25 cents on each one, that makes me happy. That's all I need. I don't need to get greedy. I don't need to pad the shit out of it. I'm good. And it also allows me to pass this down to the little guys that want to use it themselves and not have to gouge them. These lead gen companies, you're not their customers. I guarantee that. They probably wouldn't deal with you unless you were buying 1,000 leads, a week. That's their customers. That river's already flowing. All I need to do is just dip my net in and grab a couple. And I could be doing, with 4 of them, I could be doing $1 million profit a month business with just 4 of those guys. I went to Perry's event. I got to get on Perry's stage for about 5 minutes in Orlando a few weeks ago. And I got about a dozen of those guys off of 5 minutes and just being in the right place at the right time. So,
John, how would this software work for somebody? I'm sorry, John.
No,
Is this a higher ticket thing, or all my products sell for anywhere between 50 and $300. So
gotcha.
My funnels convert well, so it's not I guess it depends, right? It's all
so to give you an idea, like price wise, we've got the pricing set, so I can tell you what the pricing is. The leads are $1.99. The software itself, it's going to be like a monthly SaaS software, just like the SitePop software. And for the business owner version, it's going to be $99 a month. So $99 a month for access to the software, and you can generate as many leads as you want for your business. So the agency version will be $297 per month. And you can create as many customer accounts as you want. You can sell them as many leads as you want for $297. So
cool.
So it will be a game changer. A lot of people that are doing SEO and struggling, this is going to be like a golden gem for them.
Does the white label pricing different? You didn't hit white label.
Yeah, the white label pricing, let me look here.
If you wouldn't mind just repeating all of the pricing, I wasn't ready to take notes at that point.
Oh, sure. Okay, so the business owner pricing is $99 a month, and that is for unlimited leads for that business owner. They can have as many campaigns as they want, as many keywords. The cool thing, each campaign that you make, that campaign is specific to those leads coming out of that campaign. So you could have 10 different types of customers. You could have 10 different avatars. You would create a campaign for each avatar, so the email that was going to that avatar was the right email. And as a business owner, you can have basically an unlimited amount of campaigns, an unlimited amount of leads. Now, the leads are $1.99 each, and the program is $99 a month. for access. So that's the business owner version. The agency version is $297 a month. The difference being you can actually create customer accounts in there where each customer can have their credit card in there. The billing is all automated. You can set the prices at whatever you want in the agency level. So for $297 a month to run a lead gen company and be able to buy the leads at $1.97 and reprice them at whatever you want, that's like a gift from the internet gods.
Gift from John.
And the white label is going to be $497 a month. And the difference there is you can actually change the name of the product. You can change the logo, the color scheme. You can basically brand it as your own software, as your own product. And that one is $497 a month. Now, for all of the beta people, there's not going to be any setup fees. Those are the prices. Anybody that's in the initial thing, anybody in my group here, those are going to be your prices. The difference when we roll out the actual launch is there's going to be one-time fees to get in, just like we do with the site pop. And the one-time fees on the front end, this will incentivize the affiliates because they get 50% of these upfront fees. So the business owner version would be $299 to get started and then $99 a month. Again, you guys don't pay the upfront fee. You're just in for the $99. The agency, that one is $997 one time and then $297 a month. Same thing. You guys don't pay the $997. You'll just pay the $297. And the white label is $1997. So $2,000 and then $497 a month. Now, the affiliates get 50%. That's the reason that we do that. The pricing structure is basically engineered to drive affiliates to want to sell this. So they're going to get 50% of the front, and then they get 25% of the back. So an affiliate that's selling a white label, they're getting $1,000 on the first sale, and then they're getting 25% of the back end forever, which is $125 a month for anybody they connect with a white label.
But no piece of the lead price.
No, they don't get a piece of the lead. We're wholesaling the leads out. So if they want a piece of the lead, basically what they want to do is they want to become an agency or a white label, and then they can price the leads at whatever they want. There's just not enough margin for me to split out and give them a cut of the leads when we're wholesaling them already. I want my 25 cents a lead. I'm going to get greedy there. I want my cut of the leads.
Just thinking this, a lead, like anything else, not all leads are going to be created equal. It kind of depends on
Correct.
what your product or service is and what kind of volume versus margin you're dealing with.
And here's the other cool thing. When you are an agency level, you can set a default price for the leads, but then any campaign or any account that you set up for a client, you can set their lead price individually if you want to. Like you might find that guys in the solar industry, they're used to paying, $30 a lead. So you could say, hey, you solar guys, I'm giving you half price. Your leads are $15. You might find another industry doesn't pay that much and you set their leads at $5 each. If you go into legal law firms and you're selling leads for mesothelioma, you could probably set those leads at $100 a crack. They're paying over that in a click. Literally, they're paying over $100 a click, not a lead, a click. So there is an absolute shitload of money to be made in the lead gen business.
Opposite of that is also
as a matter of fact, John, we've been looking around here, and there's one lead gen company that sells to the solar, and they have a package that they will sell to you if you're if you're a seller company that are buying leads. They will give you 3 appointments that are set, and then I think like 100 other somehow quality leads, and then 750 junk leads essentially, and they get $3,000 for that all day long. So yeah, if you pre-vet those leads for solar, $300 to $500 a piece is doable, and it's
and
just, it's
here's
mind-blowing.
yeah, and here's something just to allude to the future. I'm always like looking at, okay, what's the next step here? When we first roll out, you're going to get access to the name, address, phone number, and email. As a second rollout, we're going to have a different version, like an upgraded lead. And this would be relevant for anyone in mortgage, real estate, probably solar, any high ticket items, auto dealers, any high ticket items is going to want the premium leads, because in the premium leads, what you're going to get access to is more data. Like you'll get household income, you'll get home ownership, different things like that, that will make it a premium lead. We haven't got the pricing yet on the premium leads set in stone yet, but they will be more expensive. They won't be the $1.99. But for somebody that's doing, real estate, that information makes that lead worth 10 times. So, because you can
guess, John, is that gonna be a month out, 2 months out? How far do you have any, throwing a dart at the board, any guess as far as setting an expectation for when the premium leads? Because those are ones that, if we're going after solar, which we are, that's going to be real important.
It depends on how fast the initial rollout goes. If we get our million leads a month accomplished, right out of the gate, I will have the money to throw at this and accelerate the process. And I think that's where we're going to go. I know that's what Brady's hoping for. Any of you guys that have been working with the system, Brady has been like the backbone of the support and getting everybody hooked up and set up and dealing with any tech questions between, the beta testers and our dev team. So he's on here. He just popped in here today. So Jeff says Brady is awesome. We're also bringing, you guys have probably seen her. She never comes out. She's a little shy on, coming out on the thing, but her name is Bree. She's going to be doing our support for the system. So she's getting trained right now on the back end systems and all that. So when we roll out, she will probably be your main interface. I'll be doing the trainings and, putting the stuff up and doing things from a high level. And then, Brady will probably be above Bree. So, we'll have chain of command, just like anything else, but we'll have the help desk in place for anybody that has, questions or anything like that, just like we do with SitePop. So full support. So I half saw your question. What was your question, Jim? It hit the screen and then went away.
Oh, it was a joke. Does your whole team have names that start with BR?
Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't even thought about that. Bree, Brady, who else can we get?
Brandon.
Brandon? No, we don't have a Brandon yet.
Okay.
I'll have to work on that.
Brian.
Need a
Brian, Brandon. That's like the Big Fat Creek wedding. Everyone was Nick, Nikki, Nikolai.
Right.
That's not wrong.
All right. Woody, did you have a question?
Yeah. So is this set up like we're actually sort of distributors?
Yes.
Is that the white label aspect of, like me, real estate?
As a white label, you're actually showing yourself as a lead gen company with your own proprietary software, because it's got your private label name on it. They wouldn't know anything about me or our, They wouldn't know anything about us in the back of the scenes. It's you on the front end, and you're the guy.
And then do you have your marketing in place that we could step into, and then we just send it to all
What?
interested parties?
Richard's like, you might have to
You
follow
do it all
Richard.
for me.
See, the thing is, your marketing is going to be unique to your business. Like, I can't come out with generic marketing. Like, I'll give you an idea. I have been working on the marketing for how I will roll it out. And as I got into this, I'm like, I don't really even want to roll this out. I don't want to roll this out to consumers. I would rather let you guys do that. I really want to sell the base platform to affiliates, or through affiliates rather, and to lead gen companies where we've got a half a dozen of them and they're doing 1 million leads a month. I want to open up the opportunity for all the guys like you guys that want to run your own lead gen company and create a massive revenue source for yourselves. I don't really want to be
want
selling
you to do
leads
all the
to
work for us.
businesses. What was that, Woody?
I want you to do all the work for me.
I know you do. Well, Richard does too. He's been after me for years for that.
Well, listen, some people are good with this and some people are shit at it. But,
Yeah.
Most salesmen are not that great on the, well, I ain't. But I certainly know where the market is. I don't know shit, really.
I'll give you an idea. Let me let you guys take a peek under the hood here of what I'm putting together as far as a branding for business owners. Now, I don't know that I'll ever use this, but if I were to roll this out and actually try and put this on my Internet Dominator site as, hey, we're a lead gen company, I would do it under the brand, and Perry beat the crap out of me about not having my brand dialed in. So I actually have one now. And the brand that I am creating for it, again, I don't know if I'll ever use it or not, but it's called Acquisitionaire. So kind of like Millionaire, but Acquisitionaire, because this is about acquisition of clients. And I'm also using the air in 2 unique ways. And again, this is a unique mechanism, if you guys haven't caught that. Acquisitionaire is the unique mechanism that's going to deliver the result in the big idea process. So I could play off of a couple of different things. I could use Acquisitionaire as playing off an airline, delivering your customers to the ideal location, the ideal destination of your business. Almost like a travel agency type of theme, where you need Acquisitionaire to shuttle clients to your front door. I'll take them from the pit of hell and deliver them to paradise on Acquisitionaire. That's one angle with it. I could also use air is what is vital for survival of your business. And as you're using Acquisitionaire to fuel your business, your client or your competitors will be gasping for air as they have none. And they're about to die. So there's a lot of angles I could wrap around Acquisitionaire. But that's what I chose as a branding flat, was Acquisitionaire.
You could use the legacy aspect of, passing it on to your heir as well.
Yeah, you could also use like Millionaire. I'm an Acquisitionaire. It's the new billionaire is Acquisitionaire.
Or Air Limbacher.
There is so many angles that Acquisitionaire could fill. It's
Air Limbacher instead of Air Jordan.
And then, I went into ChatGPT. This is not ChatGPT paid version. I'm talking about the free version of ChatGPT. I went in there just to kind of play around with it. And I gave it a prompt that was about 6 paragraphs long. outlining what the program is, how the program works, my idea of using Acquisitionaire as a brand, and all of that. And it came up with some headlines. And it said, here's some of, I'm just going to read off some of the headlines for you and the subheads. Acquisitionaire, your passport to unprecedented business growth, your fast track to more customers. Unlock superior client acquisition with Acquisitionaire. Become the leading destination for your ideal customers. Elevate your lead generation to first-class status. We bring your ideal customers right to your doorstep. Wave goodbye to clicks, ads, and SEO costs. Meet ready-to-buy prospects at the peak of their journey. Control your lead flow like a pro. Welcome to the future of lead generation.
These are really good headlines.
Those were just headlines ChatGPT just shat out for me based on my prompt. And then if you guys want, I can read you some of the sales copy that it kicked out. It's, are you ready to dominate your market? It knows I'm Internet Dominator. So it says, are you ready to dominate your market, leaving your competitors gasping for air? With Acquisitionaire, your ticket to success is ready for takeoff. Say goodbye to the slow, uncertain world of SEO and expensive advertising. We are here to revolutionize the way you acquire clients. Imagine having a flight control tower for your business, monitoring search activity across the internet. When someone starts searching for exactly what you offer, we don't just notify you, we send them directly to you in real time. These are not just any prospects, they're perfect leads at the peak of their purchase journey. Here's how it works. Once they've consumed just 2 pieces of relevant content, we'll send them soaring to your business. This is your captain speaking. We're about to flood your business with hot leads. The only question is, how many do you want today? You will have complete control. Turn the flow on and off like a faucet. Welcome to the future of lead generation. But that's not all. We offer 2 high-power AI modes for your convenience. Site AI tells you who's interested in your business, while Search AI identifies those actively looking for your services. It's like having a magical crystal ball predicting your next customers. Your competitors won't stand a chance once you're on board. You decide how much of the market you want to control. Welcome to Acquisitionaire. We are your shuttle, where we shuttle buying customers directly to your business destination. Thank you for choosing us. Your success truly has no limits. That's some pretty damn good copy from kicking out the free level of ChatGPT. And then here it has a descriptor for the product levels. Remember I just said there was 3 product levels? Well, the business owner level is the private plane. Take control of your business destiny with this entry-level option. The corporate jet version, this is ideal for agency owners looking to generate leads for high-value clients. And the full airline mode, this is your white label. White label is powerful lead gen SaaS software or services under your brand and own the skies. Closing statement. This is your captain speaking. It's time to prepare for an influx of hot leads with Acquisitionaire, your AI lead gen airline delivery service. You'll receive a jumbo jet size load of fresh, ready to buy leads delivered in real time and at your command. Get ready to soar above your competitors with Acquisitionaire. Your business's success has no limits when you're in the pilot seat. So that's what ChatGPT kicked out. You think we're good there?
So how do we
Speechless,
go
John.
further?
Just
Like it would have taken me no less than a fucking month to write that kind of copy. I would have toiled and toiled and toiled before I came up with that copy. And it kicked it out in a matter of seconds. And then I went back and forth with it. I actually had a battle. You know, I was like Travis in the ring here, fighting it out with ChatGPT. And the battle was over, is this the right angle? And I said, what if, you know, this acquisition thing is just kind of confusing or what have you? I said, give me the pros and cons of it. And it gave me a lot more pros than cons. And I said, well, let's take it a step further. Give me an example of what the copy would look like if we took the acquisition out of it and just did unlimited leads, unlimited AI leads, like I had originally came up with. And it wrote me some damn good copy. I mean, it was as good, if not better, than this copy for the acquisition. It was right to the point. It was solid as all hell. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, wow. And then I asked ChatGPT, which one do you feel is better? And it wouldn't give me an answer based on that question. That wasn't the right prompt. And so I asked it again. I said, compare the two and give me a pros and cons against one another. And then it did. It gave me a really spectacular look at what I should be thinking about when I decide what the branding is. And then after that, I basically asked it one more time in a different way. I said, you know, based on your vast knowledge of marketing and advertising companies and, you know, this and that, I was pre-framing it for who I wanted it to be.
You buttered up ChatGPT.
I did. I buttered the shit out of it. And I said, based on that, tell me which one you think would do better for my market. I explained the market I was after and why. And it basically came back saying acquisition is what it would choose given the choice and the framing. And it told me why. And one of the things, the biggest thing was it fell right back into the whole big idea. It was saying this is unique. This is memorable. This is actually a brand that could stand on its own. This is a company that could be sold for $1 billion. And I'm like, that's all I needed to hear. Sold.
I mean, you could always run both angles and just split test them. It's the same.
Yeah,
software.
well, what I could do, I could run the unlimited AI leads as the thing that I sell into the internet marketing space for agency owners. Because the text that came out with the copy, the ad copy was really solid. I mean, it would sell people like Richard, ad agency people that want to be a lead gen companies. It would sell them all day long. And then I could, you know, kind of reserve acquisition for if I ever decide if I want to sell this to retail clients.
Right. Or
when I say retail, business owners. If I want to be the lead gen company. I just don't think I do. But I do see the advantage of doing that just to build a big business. What I might do is find somebody that wants to partner in that and do that and let them build acquisition out for me. We build it into a monster and then sell it. You know, that's hell. Brady might be interested in that. I don't know. But again, this thing is all about opportunity. This is about opening opportunity, not just for me, but for everyone. You know, I've always been about that. It's never really been about me. It's been about opening opportunity for everyone.
So this has like an analytics dash to actually track, you know, return on ad spend.
I don't know that it has that because it's not connected to your end funnels. You'd have to have something that would connect to you'd basically, like, you could do that in Kartra. You could flag this as, okay, these leads are coming through here. You would know your ad spend over on this side.
Right.
Plug your ad spend in and it would give you all the rest of the analytics.
Just have its own landing page, even tag them on the landing page.
Exactly. So that wouldn't be too hard to do.
Right.
That'd be pretty easy.
Yeah, I guess it's just about, you know, you have all your funnels, you just create a cold sales email
Yeah,
based
yeah.
on whatever search and just send it out.
Yeah, it's just like if you were to run a Facebook ad, you know, you would flag everything that came through that channel and then you'd be able to track it.
Right.
Yeah, be easy.
Hmm.
All right, Nick, you had a question.
Actually, more of a comment, because a couple of weeks ago we were talking about how email had become less effective over the years with things like Gmail pushing your email right to the promotional inbox or the social inbox. So
Yes.
we had a conversation that I talked to a guy, a friend of mine, that old fraternity brother actually, that used to work at MailChimp and stuff, and he turned me on to this. I put it in the chat, but if you go to warmupinbox.io,
Yeah.
it's a really cool service. What I'm not exactly sure how this is legal, but basically they're taking and sending emails from the people I'm trying to send it to me, and then doing a reply back so that it's identified through their firewall as not spam. So it doesn't go into spam, doesn't go into junk, keeps me out of Google hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was referring to with guys that know how to do cold email. They know all those tricks, and that's like Lorenzo. Anybody that goes with Lorenzo, that's the stuff he's going to be doing for you on the back end. He's going to be making sure that your deliverability is as high as possible. You're never going to get everything through. It's, you know, it's like anything else. It's going to be a numbers game.
Yeah. I just saw
I truly believe that the emails are going to have a much higher initiation rate than just clicks, for sure.
Well, my email delivery had always looked strong, but my open rate literally doubled after a week with this. So it's where they were. It's because they weren't ending up in spam or in junk or in promotional. Made all the difference.
Yeah. And the other thing about that, email deliverability and email reputation is like a snowball. If you get more open rate, if your open rate increases, so will your deliverability rate. It will go up as well. So it's like a snowball. That's why you don't want to do this on your own email. You want your own email like top rung. You don't want to be doing any cold email with your own email. So you do it on others and then you bring it in, and then, you know, once they're in your system, you should be able to deliver with pretty high accuracy.
John, I instantly also does warm up. They're the ones that I've been using for my warm up, and they just keep it going. And you can actually feed your regular email outreach and autoresponder. It's all built into instantly, which was one that I found that actually works after going through about another half a dozen of these different ones. But Google also just announced that they're really ramping up anything to Gmail. Anything that has to do with Gmail, sending stuff through Gmail or sending to Gmail accounts and stuff. They're really on to, you have to have all your DMARC and SMP and all those other things that have to be set up on the back end have to be set up. They want a 0.03 spam rate or something. I mean, they're doing all kinds of stuff. And it's like, if there's a company that has 100 Gmail addresses, if you send 5 or 100 emails, but to 100 different people in the company, Google is now going to consider that you just sent 100 emails to that email address and stuff. So Google again is ratcheting up their nastiness online. So you might want to look into that before you know.
Yeah, I think they probably have had that in place for a while. They're just talking about it more now. That's what they do. You know, whenever they're talking about stuff, it's usually that's been going on for quite some time.
The source I was talking, I read this about said that they saw a pattern of Google talking about stuff in October, November, and then rolling them out in April and May, kind of a thing. I didn't know whether that actually holds water or not, but that was their 2 cents on that.
If it's anything like their SEO, they have a PR machine behind their SEO that it's telling you one thing to keep you distracted while they do a completely opposite thing too. So There's been many cases in SEO where they published false information that was not true to try and keep you from doing something. Like a perfect example is they leaked out that Google is going to start penalizing sites that's using AI generated copy, right? That is complete bullshit. That is absolute nonsense. The idea that they could identify that kind of copy is the only way they could identify that is if you were using generic prompts that everyone else was using. Then I say, yeah, they could probably identify it. But if they're using prompts like what I'm using, there is no way in hell Google is going to identify that.
Also, why would they care if it results in the best user experience?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're just saying that because they didn't want you using ChatGPT because it's their competitor. That makes the most sense to me why they would do that. Again, it's their PR machine trying to get you, looking the way they want you to look, not the way you need to look. But anyway, go ahead, Travis. You had your hand up.
Oh yeah, I got one question. So it's funny, I almost feel ridiculous talking about SEO at this point when it seems like the general trend is moving just completely away from SEO. But
no worries. I mean, SEO is still alive and well.
Yeah, I mean, look, but based on the SEO standing of my pages over 10 years, I make a couple $100 a day just on the traffic that comes through the funnels. So it's there.
Yeah.
But
and I don't recommend you give that up. You should fight to keep that.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it's like the YouTube videos that are sending stuff into the funnels. I don't think my ranking on any of the funnels is all that particularly great. In some cases, I have like do not index tags on like my evergreen offer pages because I don't want people to be able to like Google the sale price that I'm saying is a sale and then making it expire and so on and so forth. But it's funny because as soon as I discovered pay-per-click and I was making 4-to-1 return on ad spend, in those moments everything ranks high. The YouTube video is ranking crazy high because you have all this traffic going into it, and then over time the return on ad spend slowly drops down to just over 1-to-1. You cut the campaign, all the rankings then essentially drop, but Google still remembers the quality of those pages and how long people were on them and the fact that they kept coming back to the site and clicking through. So long story short, Thrivecart just made an update that broke all of my funnels. So people can't even use my checkout pages. So my alternative is just to build new ones on Optimized Press, which is fine. I've been meaning to sort of get everything under one roof anyhow. In order to build a funnel with Optimized Press and have it so that you could actually do one-click upsells and have the whole thing connected under one thing that shows you analytics and whatnot, you have to put your pages now in a subfolder. So instead of howtofightnow.com/knife defense, it's got to be / the funnel name / knife defense. So effectively, all of my URLs are changing. So based on the fact that like that's sort of going to kill any kind of SEO or experience standing on those old pages, what would you do? Would you just 301 them to the new and not give it another thought, not worry about any kind of positive?
Well, yeah, you need to do the 301 redirect just so you don't lose any traffic, because there's going to be legacy stuff that's going to be using those links, and you don't want them to just be broken.
Right, of course.
So I would absolutely, I know it's a pain in the ass, but I would absolutely put the time into building all those 301 redirects.
Oh, I'll do that in an hour. It's really my concern was like, damn, I've had some of these pages up for 10 years and I don't know what kind of SEO standing they have. I don't even look into it, but like having been brought up under your umbrella of SEO thinking, it's like, man, I'm just going to lose all this page power.
Yeah, and I don't think that's necessarily true. If you 301 redirect and it's the same or better content, you should be fine.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure you're going to be fine. It's supposed to pass all of that relevance through the link.
Right. At least a percentage of it, right? Like Maybe
Yeah.
not all of it, but at least some of it. And obviously there's going to be a hit. Anytime there's a change, there's a hit. But then it's like, do I even care? Like, I don't even,
Yeah,
I
and it
don't
might
even
be
care.
and it might be a temporary hit too.
At the end of the day, it's like as soon as you start paying for traffic and that works, it seems like SEO just kind of falls by the wayside. It's like, man, this is way easier. If you just have a funnel, it's like, why am I sitting there gutting it out trying to get organic clicks when I can just send people? And that's why your new software is actually pretty interesting, you know,
Yeah.
a new angle to a potentially higher quality lead.
Yeah.
But all right, cool. Yeah,
I've
I'll set up my redirects and not even think about it.
Yeah, I've been telling people that for years. You can buy the traffic. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. And, I tell a lot of people too, you should buy traffic first before SEO, because SEO takes so long and it's so labor intensive. You don't want to do SEO for 3 months or 6 months to find out, oh, well, that wasn't the right keywords.
Yeah, and honestly, Google's not going to give you any rankings anyhow because you don't have the traffic to establish a positive use pattern. Like
Yeah.
the SEO comes from the traffic in a lot of sense and the user
does.
metrics.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it absolutely does. Like, people don't realize the leads program is going to actually enhance your SEO, because it's going to bring you traffic from a third source that's not Google. It's going to bring you traffic through an email link.
Interesting.
And I know
A
Perry
different avenue of
Belcher,
entry. Yeah.
yeah, Perry Belcher contacted me. This had to have been like over 10 years ago. And he said, hey, he goes, I have a phenomenon nobody can explain. I was hoping you could take a look at it for me. And I said, sure. What's the phenomenon? And he said, well, I have a brand new page that's got no SEO. It's for a competitive keyword, and it's ranking #1 almost as soon as I put it up. How is that possible? And I looked at it. I said, was this a new domain? He said, no, I've owned the domain for a while. I said, did anyone own it before you? And we looked up. No, it was never owned before. So it had really no history, no track record. And all of a sudden, he puts this page up and it's ranking #1 for a really, really competitive keyword. And I said, well, what's happening with this? What else are you doing? And he said, well, the only thing I'm doing, I just set it up to send my list to it, for a free offer. And I said, well, how many people did you send? He had 1 million people on his email list. So he sent out 1 million emails with the link to that page. I'm sure, if 1% hit it, he got a shitload of people on that page, from not coming from Google search, coming from an outside source. And I said, there's your answer. You can test that. And he tested it on multiple sites, multiple pages, and did the same thing. So you're right on the money. Any kind of traffic from other sources other than organic search is going to affect your organic search, including pay-per-click, even though it's from the same source. Could be even Google pay-per-click is going to affect Google search rankings. So that's, that is a given. So that's why I tell everybody, when you're building your mailing list, use that mailing list to bring people back to your website on a regular basis, even if you're not trying to sell them something. Just get them in the habit of coming back and giving them free stuff to bring them back to your site to download it and get it.
You could be sloppy with your marketing and your funnels when the traffic is free.
Exactly.
when you're actually paying for it, you're sort of forced to dial in your content and your marketing, which seems to be the hardest part, really.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
So will you be giving us a model?
A model? I think I just gave it to you.
Like baking a cake.
Richard, Woody wants me to do the same thing. He wants me to cook the steak, chew the steak, and then wipe it as it comes out too.
Come on, John. It's not that bad.
Hey, come on. I'll give you 50% for that shit.
Hey, I've been paying $30 a month for 12 years now, John. I want to get every piece of value I can.
Come on, you guys should know by now how lazy I am. I do minimal effort for maximum output. Oh, that's classic.
Me too. It just ain't banned.
Oh, geez. But
So how are you going to release this great thing that have to those of us that haven't been active in beta?
Well, anybody that's in my group, you guys will get the same thing as the beta release. So don't worry if you're not in the beta program. It'll be the same for all you guys. But outside of that, the official launch release will go out through all of our webinar partners, all of our affiliate partners. That's how the initial first launch will go. And then I'll be doing some specific outreach to different providers to do the same thing and really ramp it up.
When?
So that's what I've been kind of putting those blocks in place. I'm going to Boston in a couple of weeks to Dory's event, and her group is going to freak out when they hear that I'm not doing SEO anymore, because they're the group that refers to me as the godfather of SEO. And they're all charging up and pumping their marketing that I'm coming to speak at the SEO Rockstar group. And I think it's in a couple weeks. So it's going to be a really interesting announcement to that group. They're going to probably flip their lid, and then I'll be able to bait them right into where I want them to go, which is, the lead gen software. Again, if they ask me, why am I getting out of SEO? There's two reasons. Actually 3 reasons for me to get out of SEO. One, it's the right time for me to exit. The second one is you always want to leave on top, right? You never want to leave a fight defeated. You always want to leave the fight on top. And I have remained on top now for 25 plus years. I have the record of never having a client site banned ever. I don't know anyone else in the SEO industry that can say that. So I literally have an opportunity to go out on top, and I'm going to take it. And the other thing, the water is just absolutely bloody at this point for somebody new starting into SEO. It's not the same game as it was. So, and thirdly, the question back to, why would you want to do SEO? Why would you want to go through all that when I can just tell you who's searching for you? And that opens the door to the window of opportunity. I always say, when one door closes, it opens a window of opportunity. So Dory might not be happy with me when this is over, because I'm going to close the door on SEO and open the window of lead gen. I might not be her favorite person at the end of that.
Yes, you will. She has a good head on her shoulders. She'll see the opportunity because you know how to present it.
Yeah, I think she will. I'd be surprised. I think she might be mad because I didn't come to her and say, hey, I want you to release this to my group. Do a little more engineering on the process. But we'll see how it goes.
Well, you have a week to get that together and talk to her before the event.
Yeah, I could do that. But I have some absolutely blockbuster content as far as SEO to release to her, like how to use AI and SEO and some stuff that I really haven't told too many people about. And that's, that'll be kind of a perk for her group to get that stuff. So we'll give them plenty of value before I close.
Well, you could give a heads up and say, hey, I'm going to give you the swan song of SEO, and I'm going to give you the biggest, opportunity to the newest, best, lead gen maker. So you close out with a swan song and you open up with the new dance partner.
Yeah.
Well said.
Or you could tell us how to use AI with SEO.
I've already told you guys. It's one of the biggest factors in SEO is link building. So what you can do is you can use AI to tell you who your best link partners are. Like who are businesses that share your prospects, share your client base, but don't compete. And it'll give you a whole list of businesses. Then you've got their websites, then you contact them, you create a lead magnet, basically, that they could put on their own website and give away. And then you just contact them and say, hey, I noticed you don't have a lead magnet on your site. How are you generating leads? How are you building your mailing list? Would you be interested if I gave you a system like that? And in turn, you just give me a link to my website back?
How would you go about contacting them?
They're all going to say yes. I mean, you could just call them. You could either call them, you could email them. Their information's generally on their website. I've never seen anybody contacting website owners offering to build them a lead magnet so they could build a mailing list and give it to them for free.
You're saying you would do this to who? Linked partners?
Yeah, to get link partners. Outreach link building is the most powerful link building there is. It's been that way for a long, long time. There's still a lot of people that are selling, blog networks and linking rings, and all that crap. Google knows exactly what that stuff is. They know what that looks like. The best link is a link that is going to bring you traffic that's relevant. Now, you're not going to have relevant traffic on blog networks for the most part. There are people that go on a blog network. They know it's, this is just a collection of junk.
Registry sites.
Yeah. I mean, you literally can use ChatGPT to figure out who are the best websites that have your same client base that are not competing sites. And then you just reach out. It's called outreach link building. The problem is when you're reaching out to people to try and build a link, they don't have any incentive to give you a link. Sometimes you can offer to pay for it, but then, who knows if they're going to take it off or not. With a lead gen system, if you give them an opt-in system, you can make it to where the opt-in pops up. After they opt in, the thank you page has your link on it, giving them an offer for you to get them to opt into your site. So not only is it a link, it's giving them something highly valuable. They're going to click to go to your site. Then they're going to download it. They're going to go multiple pages deep in your site. I guarantee you it's the best link you're ever going to get.
So are you suggesting you actually put a piece of content on somebody else's site, or you're thinking more like a little ad that goes back to a landing page on your site and you make them an affiliate?
No. You're actually giving them something unique for their site to give away to their customers to build their mailing list. And on the thank you page, up pops the link to your site and your offer on top of that, because you're not competing.
Right.
You're literally giving them a function to build a mailing list. And if they don't have one, that's very valuable.
So this seems like it would take a lot of work. Like, how many of these would be a good amount to have, do you think? Like, what would you be impressed with?
It's not a lot of work with using ChatGPT to do it. I mean, it can build you and once you've built the lead magnet, you could probably use the same lead magnet for 50 different sites.
Right.
It's probably going to give you a list of 50 sites. You could use that one lead magnet for all of them.
All right, John, you lost me. ChatGPT could give me a list of quality linked partners because I say, here's my product and here's who my target audience is. Who else is targeting this audience without without competing, right?
Exactly.
And that would give me that list of who to target. But
That's
how would I
exactly
build
right.
them? How would I build them a lead magnet and funnel for their product?
All you'd have to do is look at what they're doing, go to ChatGPT and say, what would be the perfect lead magnet for this industry? And then when it tells you, say, great, write it for me. Write me the copy, write me a headline, write me what it's going to take to get someone to opt in and build a lead.
I mean, you could just use the first piece of one of your own marketing funnels. If people haven't seen it, just repurpose one of your own funnels. Repurpose your own lead magnet.
As long as it serves their content, as long as it serves their community, and it gives them something valuable to give away to build their mailing list, that's gold. That is absolute gold.
This is how SEO should really be done. This is the real way. Yeah. Everyone's spending their time writing blogs with relevant keywords, and it's like, dude, there's what are you doing? You got to go out and get the traffic from relevant sites who have traffic. Yeah, this makes perfect sense. I'd be really interested, John, if maybe next week you wanted to do something where you actually showed us how to use ChatGPT in this way. I've never used ChatGPT, so all of this is like sort of a novel idea. But yeah, what are the best links? What are the best links to get?
Yeah, he walked right into that, John. What about your prompt thing? How long before those of us who don't go to Catalina are going to be able to peep behind that curtain?
Yeah, Travis. So what Richard is alluding to there, the magic in using ChatGPT or any AI is in the prompting. The prompt is like the question that you ask of it. So it's just a chat window. ChatGPT is just a chat window. You ask a question, it gives you an answer based on AI. So the question is the most important thing. If you ask a basic generic question, it's going to give you crap back. So in the prompting, that's where the magic lies.
Gotcha.
So whenever you start a prompt, the chat, keep in mind, the chat has access to every piece of written content on the planet. So its knowledge base is immense. It's unfathomable what it has access to answer your question. But the thing is, you don't want your question answered by an idiot, right? And 99% of that content is written by idiots. So you don't want to look like an idiot. So you want to filter that shit out. So you have to pre-frame the chat window with who it is. Like you literally tell it, you are, or the way I say it is, today I need you to be. That's how I pre-frame it. Today I need you to be a marketing professional at the top of your game. I'm talking about the highest level of ad agency in the country, the top of the top. There's no one better than you at the advertising game. Your knowledge of marketing, I tell it exactly who I need it to be. And then I say, based on that, here's my question. And what it'll do, it'll filter out all the riffraff. It's going to only reference the marketing sources that I have identified. And it's going to give me a level of content that is unbelievable.
Interesting.
One thing to add on the AI ChatGPT frame. I just learned this in a fantastic webinar, but it has access to information up to and through 2021. Anything after that, it's not. It's all going to be supposition and so on. So don't try thinking you're going to get current statistics to use in your advertising, your blog or whatever. Make sure you keep that in mind.
Interesting.
And that's if you're using the free version. If you're using the ChatGPT 4 or some of the other ones, the higher level services for chat, they can get you more accurate. I don't know how close to current level they'll be, but they can get you up beyond that date at least. But the prompts, when I write the prompts, I'll write a prompt that's 4 to 6 paragraphs long. And by prompt, I mean the question I'm asking. I'll give it all the detail I could possibly imagine. I want it to know what I know, so it's starting from there and going up. I don't want it starting at the bottom and just filling me up with a bunch of crap.
Travis, check your chat as well.
Oh, sure, yeah. So are you able to tell it or prompt it to stick within a certain echelon of the Google rankings, for example? So you could say, hey, I'm interested in the top 30 people in my field who are teaching people how to fight or teaching mixed martial arts, or I mean, I guess it would even make more sense to specify like the specific content that you're trying to push, because
Yeah.
you know, sometimes random people have like good stuff for knife defense and they're not like a mixed martial arts group. You know, there's different sites for different things. So that's
like for instance, if you wanted it to write marketing copy for you, you would tell it to go and base its output on the top marketers in your field.
okay.
Not just the top marketers in any field, the top marketers in your field.
I can't do it, John. They're all so you're out with your family and you're completely unprotected. It's all fear-based. Everyone's fear-based. I do humor-based with a little dose of fear interjected. I'm a purist in that sense. I'm happy to just have ChatGPT give me the info behind the scenes. I don't need it to write my copy. I like slaving over copy.
Oh, you would be amazed at what it'll do for writing copy. You should try it. I mean, seriously, it is amazing. It will think of things I guarantee you haven't thought of.
Interesting.
It'll think of angles. It will. I mean, it's knowledge base. It's like if you had the ultimate guru that you could ask questions of, it's right there for you.
Yeah, John, you can do that. I've actually had conversations with, just so that I have somebody to talk to bounce ideas off of. And the interesting thing is, unless you guys have really gone on ChatGPT and really tried, I mean, in earnest, spent a day or two working with it to try and figure out how to get to the prompts, John is so absolutely spot on with those prompts, because if you get the different chats where you could actually get longer than a 500 word prompt, where there's that other, I forget now what you said that other one was, where you can write, you know, thousands and thousands of words long prompt. Because what I did with ChatGPT after seeing another guy about how to write prompts and stuff is actually put, here's a sample, here's a great newsletter. So take one of, you know, Perry Belcher's newsletters, or anybody that's doing, you know, great stuff, and put it in there and say, here's an example, here's the market, here's the data he put in there. Now, here's my data, here's my market, put that in there. And that transformed when it went. And then John started talking about his longer prompts, and that the prompt is far and away the key, even more than most people think it is. Even though there's a lot of people telling you how to do prompts, they're full of feathers. John's has got the one that actually works, because I've actually tried doing it the way John did. I did a screen grab, John. I slowed it down and I stole parts of it. Yes, I did.
No problem.
I know I'm not going to Catalina, although I would really love to be able to see what the prompts are. But
yeah, so yeah, I've got a roughly 30,000 word prompt that takes everything from the beginning to creating an entire marketing funnel. And it identifies the market, it segments the market, it figures out who the most profitable segment of the market is. It'll give you all the data on all the segments, all of your possible customer avatars, and then it will create all the different angles for each one and all the marketing campaigns for each one. But it's like a 30,000 word prompt. And
I say we do a virtual fishing trip, Johnny L. Virtual fishing boat trip.
And it's beyond what ChatGPT's capability even is. You can't plug that into ChatGPT because it'll only take so many characters. But there's another one called Poe where you can put, you know, a whole bunch more into Poe. So you can drop this prompt into Poe, and Poe uses ChatGPT for its output, but it does a lot of other stuff. It combines a lot of different sources, and it will output an entire business. It'll tell you everything that you ever wanted to know about the market, the people in it, the segments, the profitability, which angles are effective, you know, what their deepest fears are, what they need to hear. I mean, it is unbelievable what it comes up with. It'll give you a list of, these are the things that this person is terrified of hearing at work, at home, you know, at all these different places. And here's the things that are music to their ears. Here's what they want to hear their spouse say. Here's what they want to hear their grandkids say. Here's what they want their coworkers to say. And it gives you all of that. And then it takes all of what it just built for you and it plugs it in, it writes a funnel for you based on all that information. And it is unbelievable. It, like, you know, because it's prompted to understand buying triggers and psychology and all of that. So it's digging deep. You also have to tell it that I want you to give me information without prejudice, without bias. Don't be afraid you're going to hurt someone's feelings. You have to tell it that. Otherwise, it's going to filter and it's going to give you filtered information. So you have to literally tell it, take the gloves off. We're fighting to the death on this one. And when you do that, you create a prompt like that, you will see the information that you get out is, it's way more than you will ever do on your own. It's like having the top 10,000 copywriters at your disposal. You know, what would you do with them? Would you send them all home? I don't think so.
I would lack in my output and their copy would be for nothing. I would.
Yeah, but it's all about the prompt. And John, the way that you crafted that, the whole language and the structure that you use to tell it about, essentially take the gloves off and tell them the really hard, ugly, biting truth. The way you do that, that's what's key. Otherwise, you won't get that stuff. Without that, you won't get that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty magical when you learn to do the prompting. I mean, ChatGPT is just a cool program to play with, but if you're using it as a professional, you need to up your game to the level you need to be a professional in that. It's just like anything else. You know, if you play amateur hour on SEO, you're going to get amateur results. You play amateur hour on copywriting, you're going to get, you know, mediocre results at best. If you want to play to win, you have to learn, you have to up your game. It's skill. You know, all of this is skill level. You know, it's just
you
like,
heard of Jasper?
yes, Jasper is one of the precursors to ChatGPT. And Jasper is a ChatGPT type window. But what they've done is they've put frameworks on it to make it easier. They've kind of pre-prompted it. So they wrap it in a lot of pre-prompts. So you don't have to learn how to do the prompts. But again, you're relying on them and their prompts and their ability to prompt. And it's mediocre.
Well, I've played around with it, and there's only so much prompt they'll allow you to put in.
Yeah.
It seemed that way.
It's because they're wrapping it with their own prompt. So they're wrapping a base level prompt for you to go on top of. And it's the same. There's a lot of programs like that. There's one called Surfer SEO. And it's a ChatGPT prompt wrapped program for SEO. Like, it's wrapped a lot of the SEO prompts into that, and then you can use it and it'll create titles and descriptions and schema codes, and it'll analyze other sites and tell you what's better about their content than yours. And, you know, there's a lot of different stuff, but it's all based on their pre-programmed prompts for SEO. So it's called SEO Surfer or Surfer SEO, one or the other.
John, did you learn how to prompt from a program, or did you put in, like, if you're using Poe, did you put in, can you teach me the best way to develop marketing prompts? Like, how did you learn? What was your thinking and crafting behind getting the 30,000 word prompt or page or whatever it is?
initially what it was just me being me. That's what it was initially. And I found that I was getting better results. And then I went to Perry's first AI conference, and, you know, a lot of light bulbs went off. It's like, oh yeah, that's how you can do this better. And, you know, that increased my skill set level, you know, probably 100-fold. But it always comes back to my thought processes. You know, same thing with SEO. You know, my thought processes around SEO are basically mostly built upon common sense. So like with this, it's common sense, you know, it's like garbage in, garbage out is common sense. If you give it something generic, you're going to get something generic back. That's common sense. If you be specific, you're going to get better results. Again, that's common sense. So a lot of it is just me being me. But the 30,000 word prompt, I mean, that is somebody else wrote the base of that. One of the guys in Perry's event, he wrote it, and it was like 33,000 words. And I took it, looked at it, and I'm like, there's a lot of, it was phenomenal. I got to tell you, it was absolutely off the hook phenomenal as it was. But as I was looking at it, I'm like, this thing's missing a few pieces. And it was very close to the ACT program. But it was like, okay, I can go through and I can tweak this, and I can make this fit to the ACT program, and I can add a few things in. There's a lot of it I could cut out that's not necessary. And when I'm actually done with it, I don't think it's going to be anywhere near 30,000 words. I think it might be like 15 or 20, because I'm going to rip a lot of it out that just, you know, it's just over the top. I don't think it's necessary. But same output, you know, to get it to output that phenomenal output. And once I get that done, it's probably going to take me a little bit to do that. Once I get that done, that's what I was talking about, you know, doing a private thing with 4 or 5 people, going over to Catalina and going through it with that 4 or 5 person group, and, you know, giving that to them, and just going through learning together how to even make it better. So that'll be something I'm thinking probably somewhere in November, December to do that. So that's kind of where that is on the radar. But who knows? I mean, I might get just over pummeled by the leads thing, the lead gen program. And I know that on a priority, that is a higher priority in the scheme of things right now. Is the lead gen program. Get that up, running. Brady needs a boat. So, I mean, come on, we got to get that cooking. So that's number one. Go ahead, Brady.
You don't need a boat, Johnny. It's going to be Dominator fleet.
How big a boat does Brady need? That's the question.
I have 3 kids now. I'm looking at more, so I would need a big boat.
All right, there you go. I think we all need a bigger boat, right? I think.
Hey, John, have you seen the Elon Musk video of he wants everyone to get into business, make $2,000 a day? Have you seen that?
I have not seen that. Haven't seen
I
that.
think it's a Bitcoin thing. But he, you know, he said everyone, I mean, it was an outrageous claim. It's like everyone in New Jersey will be billionaires.
Yeah. There's a lot of that crap going on around the whole crypto industry. There's a lot of people that don't understand that whole thing, the blockchain technology and all of that. But that stuff is all tied into our future very, very tightly. You've got 3 disruptive components all coming to market at the same time. You've got AI, you've got blockchain technology, and then you've got the thing that actually is the thing that will make them go, which is supercomputing. All three of those technologies are coming to a head in 2024. And the thing with the blockchain and the crypto, I truly believe that that is going to make a handful of people wealthy beyond their imagination. But I don't believe it's going to be Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think those are a shill. And Elon Musk has already done shills into this industry to manipulate the prices. So anything he says, I would not pay too much attention to.
John, I think
Dogecoin.
John, I think you can add a fourth one to that, because I heard an interesting thing. Remember a few months back, we heard all that brouhaha about the giant Hadron collider finally created, a billionth of a second of fusion, right? And so fusion technology is on the way. A group said, oh, if we want to do that, what if we put AI to it? And AI, when they ran several million simulations and came up with this loop-de-loop-de-loop-de track. The AI said, this is the track that the plasma will naturally flow at if you just leave it alone and let it go. And they built this thing with these there's like 12 of these 16-ton magnets in this really whoop-de-doop setup. And they created fusion that lasted for 6 minutes. So we went from the first thing to actually working in a matter of months with the AI. So you can add fusion to that list. We're up to 4 now. The world will be a different place by the time my grandkids hit puberty. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the fusion part, but I do know the other three are in place to change just about everything about our daily lives as far as business, money, finance, all of that. And you're going to see there's going to be a handful of these crypto coins that are just going to be incredible. Like what Bitcoin was, when Bitcoin went from 10 cents to $60,000, that was all just speculation. There was nothing really behind that. There's no utility in Bitcoin. But the new ones that are being built for the finance industry, and Rosie Rios, the treasurer of the United States, has gone to the board of Ripple. There's a reason for that. The person that was on the board of Ripple that she replaced took her place in the treasury. These people are moving on the board like chess pieces. And I really believe that within the next year to 2 years, that whole system is going to click into gear. And it's going to make the people that are holding those cryptocurrencies incredibly wealthy. And the ones holding all the rest, they could potentially be left holding the bag. And, the SEC is already doing it. They're already, heavily involved in manipulating this whole thing to where they want it to all go. So it's
interesting thing is, John, I've been really watching all the XRP news and stuff, and everybody talks about it. And they're saying, could it go to $5? Could it go to $10? Maybe you can go to $100 or whatever. And my thought was, they aren't listening.
No,
because if you listen to what the other people, what all the big guns are saying, the Janet Nelsons, all these people that are there's no one above them in the food chain that is in the public knowledge. They are all talking about it's going to be the XRP is going to be used to monetize, so you can do the exchanges, bring all these crypto things, and they're describing exactly the fact without saying it. At the last minute, they go sideways for some reason and give some other thing that makes no sense. But it becomes very obvious that XRP has to be worth whatever the amount of money that you're going to exchange. You can't use a dime to transfer 25 cents worth of value. It has to have the value between the English pound and the sterling, or whatever the euro, or whatever monetary your thing. If you're making the transition, whatever this little piece is, which happens to be XRP, that's going to transfer it from here over to here, how does it do it without being worth the same amount? Because
Yeah,
that's the amount that you're transferring. And they won't say that, obviously, for the reasons you're talking about, John. They don't want that out of the bag, but it's really clear that you're spot on.
Yeah, that's what we'll be talking about. I've got my crypto call here in about 45 minutes, and you know, that's a heavy subject into that call is what is the value of that going to be and when's it going to happen? And the regulators, you know, a lot of people are trying to drive the prices down and manipulate right now to get the retail out of it, because they don't want us to be wealthy. They do not want us to be wealthy. They want to drive us out and then manipulate the price back to the upside to where it really belongs. But if you look at all the stuff, and you know, I won't go into all of it, but all the stuff that's happening that should be pushing up the value of XRP, and it's not. It just keeps ticking down. That is pure manipulation. It's manipulation to drive us out so they can buy it at a bargain basement price before they flip the switch. And it's going to be the biggest transfer of wealth in human history. And I hope you guys are on the right side of it when it happens.
Well, if we sell enough leads, John, we will be, right?
We won't have to, Richard.
Hey, you won't give a shit about those leads if you've got XRP.
Right. Hey, John, I got a boat that is your boat is this as big as this one here? Can I share this with you?
Yeah, go ahead.
You see it?
Yep. That is just about the size of the one I'm looking at for my next one.
Okay.
That's pretty
Cool.
close. A little different style, but yeah, that's in the realm.
Does it come with the helicopter?
Usually they do.
But you got to have more room to fish, right, John?
Well, you can get the little fishing boat that goes with it for that. That's the mothership. That's the one you go to shower after you fished.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot
You
for
know whose
the
boat that
time,
is?
John. I appreciate you, buddy. I got to run.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. Has anybody else got anything before we call it quits?
Thank you for a wonderful, complete walkthrough on all the lead gen stuff, John. That's the last stuff I need to be ready so I can start putting together my Black Friday sale, because I'm going to take you up on that, and we're going to do the lead gen big time. So thank you very much for all the details. Is there one last thing? Is anybody able to say that these are converting 10% better, 5% better, 20% better? Any ranges at all that we're looking at this point?
John, if you want to run me a campaign at cost, I'll give you the details. I'll tell you. I'll be happy to provide the data.
Yeah, I'm happy to. Just shoot me an email. I'll plug you into the beta thing, and Brady can get you all set up.
Awesome. I'll do it.
No problem. But yeah, I haven't really gone through all the nitty gritty. I just been kind of throwing it in a folder, Richard. I haven't really even read through a lot of it.
Well, I sure don't want to quote any numbers, and I won't be doing it till I get them from my customers, but I need to have a number in my head that if they're not hitting at least that level, they're doing something wrong, or I'm doing something wrong, and that sort of stuff. So at least, you know, if it's only going to be, 3 or 5% better, that's still 3 to 5% better. It'd be nicer if it was 30% better, but who the A knows until we actually get some numbers.
Even if it was the same, the cost is a fraction of what they're paying.
Good point.
Yeah.
And it's recency too. So instead of filtering out by virtue of interests over a population, this seems to have the trend of people who are recently looking for the information. Is that accurate, John?
Yeah, absolutely. Most leads, if you buy leads from a lead gen company, most of them are at least a day old. These are seconds old. So
cool.
Pretty cool stuff. All right. Well, we will go ahead and wrap it up for today. Thank you guys all for coming on and being a part of the journey.
See you,
Thank you, John. Great
we will
call.
see you all next week.
Yeah. Bye, guys. Take care.
Well,
Bye,
when you
buddy.
get the other boat, you could go from
Thanks, John.
captain
Have a good
to
night, man.
admiral.
Absolutely. I'll see you guys.